Significant Eskom bailout announced by the Finance Minister will not end power cuts immediately, but there is some good news for residents and businesses looking to install solar panels. They will be eligible to claim up to 25% of the cost, up to a maximum of 15,000 Rand. To discuss this further, I am joined by Executive Head of Financial Planning at NMG Benefits, Stian de Witt. Thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. So we didn't get great news to say we'll see the end of load shedding in the next week or so. Instead, we're being moved to higher levels of rolling blackouts. But there is some good news for those that want to install solar panels and basically want to provide their own electricity.
Yes, Heidi, thank you. Yeah, what we've seen is obviously there's a 25% rebate that SARS is going to give to you when you install solar panels. Now, just be careful, it's just the panels. You're not going to get a rebate on your inverters or any form of battery system that you install. But at least, you know, if you have 20 panels installed, that's 25% of your panels. And on a 2,000 Rand a month bill, that's around about 7 months worth of expenses paid for by SARS due to the rebate.
So maybe just tell us how consumers can go about doing this, though, because it's one thing to say, well, there'll be some kind of tax incentive and relief should you want to install your solar panels, but some might say, I don't really know how this process works, and it might become too technical for them.
Yeah, I think it's really important, you know, that you talk to proper experts that is in the solar industry. Now, there's a lot of fly-by-nights currently in the industry. So a few things I think is really important. The first one is get someone with a PV green card certification, someone that can give you a proper COC, a certificate of compliance, and then also someone that has the proper references. We've heard horror stories of people paying massive deposits and they just didn't get their work done and people are gone with their money. So I think it's important that you don't be penny wise, pound foolish. Look at a proper system, but get references of proper installers that actually has a track record, not someone that just what they call the bucket brigade, just work out of the back of the bucket and can't give you any after-sales service and support.
Very important that they go to reputable places to get their solar panels installed to make sure that they get those tax incentives and tax relief. Let's move over to some other good news when it comes to medical aid tax credits. We also know that that's been upped. What does this actually mean for individuals?
But it's basically just keeping up with inflation. So SARS has obviously every year those people that have a medical aid that they contribute to, they get a rebate, a tax credit on that money that they spend on their medical aid. And SARS just basically says, listen, we're just upping it 4.9%, making sure we keep track of inflation on that rate. Unfortunately, medical aids go up by more than 4.9% per year, but it's just to keep track of your SARS rebates that you get from SARS.
And what about the tax rebates on lump sum withdrawal, especially when it comes to pension funds? We know that that has been quite a big concern and sticking point where many are saying, why should we be taxed so much when we want to withdraw our pension or large sums of money? Yeah,
so there's some great news. Once or twice every decade, SARS comes about and then says they increase the rebate that or the tax-free portion you get when you retire from a pension, provident or retirement annuity, and that was up by 50,000 Rand. So it used to be 500,000 Rand, now it's 550,000. Now the real implication is that it's important to see that if you already in retirement even, you can still access that because that 550,000 is over your lifetime. So we've realized at NMG that it's important to have proper tax planning, and you can go and actually have an additional retirement annuity, obviously with the proper planning around it. And even retirement, you can access that 50,000 Rand. So yeah, for people going into retirement now, there's an additional 50,000 Rand before you're going to start paying tax on your lump sums. And remember, it's just the lump sum portion of your retirement annuity and your pension fund, the 1/3 portion. And then in a provident fund, the amount of money that you want to withdraw.
I just want to move over to another big issue that we do know that there has been a tax relief of about 13 billion rand for the year 2023-2024. And the finance minister, there's always a lock-up briefing that happens before he delivers his budget speech to the media and anybody else who is in the lock-up session. And he basically said that he's probably going to have no choice but to increase taxes next year in budget 2024 because of the relief that we are seeing in this particular budget. The things that you are seeing with solar, we do know that the health levy has also not been increased because they're trying to provide some relief for that specific sector. The medical aid tax credits and the lump sum withdrawal has been increased. So are you concerned that, you know, taxes next year might be a little bit harsh given what we saw this year?
I think it's a tricky question, because on the one side, if we have a situation like we currently have with the commodities, where a lot of money comes to the tax coffers because of the commodity prices being so high, and the mining industry can contribute towards the fiscus. If that continues, then we might not be able to see that. But on the other side, you know, if that has a bit of a slowdown, yes, there might be a bit of a tax burden placed on the individual. And what we've seen over the last 6 years, that tax burden normally goes to the high tax bracket earners, someone, you know, beyond 600, 700,000 rand per annum income. So that's normally where that burden is going to land. And I think it might be the same moving forward.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your insights. We do appreciate it. That was Executive Head of Financial Planning at NMG Benefits, Stian de Witt.